My husband's threatening me, saying I'll never see my kids again if we divorce. What should I do now? My husband, no, I should call him what he really is now, my soon-to-be ex-husband, just told me I'll never see my kids again if I go through with this divorce. He said it so casually, like he was discussing the weather, like he wasn't threatening to rip my heart out of my chest. I guess I should start from the beginning. When I met Daniel, he was charming, attentive, and everything I thought I wanted in a partner. He made me feel special, like I was the only person in the world who mattered. We got married fast, too fast, if I'm being honest. Within a year, I was pregnant with our first child, and by the time our second came along, the cracks in our marriage were impossible to ignore. At first, it was small things, little moments where he seemed distant, uninterested. Then came the criticisms, the passive-aggressive comments about my parenting, my appearance, even the way I spoke. Over time, it escalated. He started controlling where I went, who I talked to, even how I spent money. And then, one day, I realized I wasn't in a marriage anymore, I was in a prison. I held on for the kids. I told myself they needed both parents, that maybe I was overreacting, that maybe if I tried harder, things would get better. But things never got better. They only got worse. He became cruel, dismissive, and in his worst moments, downright terrifying. He never hit me, but his words did more damage than any slap ever could. He knew exactly how to break me down, to make me doubt myself, to make me feel like I was nothing. And I let him. Until now. I finally gathered the courage to leave. I had a plan, nothing elaborate, but enough to get myself and the kids out safely. I spoke to a lawyer, started looking for a place to stay, and even reached out to a few close friends for support. But somehow, he found out. And that's when the threats started. You think you're going to take my kids away from me? He sneered last night when I finally told him I wanted a divorce. You'll never see them again, I promise you that. His voice was so calm, so full of certainty, that it sent a chill down my spine. This wasn't an empty threat. He meant it. I tried to reason with him, to tell him that we could co-parent, that I wasn't trying to take the kids away from him. But he just smirked, shaking his head like I was some foolish child. You don't get it, do you? I have the money. I have the connections. You? You have nothing. The court will never give you custody. You'll be lucky if you even get visitation. And the worst part? I believed him. Daniel makes more money than I do. He has a high-powered job, while I've spent most of the last few years at home with the kids. I have no savings, no financial independence, nothing that would make a judge see me as the more stable parent. He, on the other hand, has a network of people who will vouch for him. People who don't know the monster he becomes behind closed doors. To them, he's the perfect father, the devoted husband. To me, he's the man who has spent years making me feel like I don't exist. I don't know what to do. Every time I close my eyes, I see my children's faces. The thought of losing them, of having to hand them over to him, of not being able to tuck them into bed at night, is unbearable. And yet, if I stay, I'll be teaching them that this is what love looks like. That this is normal. That this is what they should accept in their own relationships one day. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to let him scare me into staying. I wasn't going to let him manipulate me into giving up. I was going to fight. The next morning, I called my lawyer and told her everything. The threats, the manipulation, the emotional abuse. She told me something I didn't expect. His threats could actually work against him in court. Judges don't look kindly on parents who try to use their children as weapons in a divorce. If I documented everything, if I gathered proof of his behavior, I might have a chance. I started keeping records. I saved every threatening text, every voicemail where he hinted that I'd lose the kids. I even reached out to a therapist who could provide professional insight into the emotional toll his behavior had taken on me. It wasn't easy. Every time I saw him, he acted like nothing had changed, like we were just another normal couple going through a rough patch. But I saw through it now. I saw the manipulation, the calculated way he tried to break me down. And for the first time in years, I didn't let it work. When I finally filed for divorce, he was furious. He tried to intimidate me, to make me second-guess myself, but I stood my ground. And when he realized his threats weren't scaring me anymore, he turned to the courts. He filed for full custody, claiming I was unstable, unfit to be a mother. But this time, I was ready. I had the proof. I had the support. And most importantly, I had the truth on my side. The custody battle was brutal. He painted me as a hysterical woman, incapable of raising our children. But the evidence spoke louder than his lies. My lawyer exposed his manipulations, his controlling behavior, his attempts to use our children as leverage. And when it was all said and done, the judge saw through him. I was awarded primary custody. He got visitation, but under strict conditions. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe. The fight wasn't easy. There were moments when I thought I'd break, when I thought he'd win, when I thought I'd lose everything. But I didn't. I fought for my kids. I fought for myself. And in the end, I won. Now, as I sit here watching my children play in the backyard, I realize something: I'm free. Not just from him, but from the fear that controlled me for so long. I'm finally free to be the mother my children deserve. And no matter what happens next, I know one thing for certain: he will never take them away from me. Not now. Not ever.